and upset Michigan. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet Dave Pearson. He's the guy who went from one side to the other. We'll explain. And we'll look ahead to next week as we scout a formidable Utah squad. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants, home of the original Big Boy double-decker hamburger. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, when you go to South Bend and play in Notre Dame Stadium, strange things happen. And for the Wolverines on Saturday, strange things happened, and they came up on a 25-23 short end in a tough physical four-quarter game, which you knew was going to happen. But, Lloyd, you talked about it after the game, and when you turn the ball over and make penalties, it's tough to win anywhere, and down there even more difficult.
Well, Jim, yeah, that's it's so disappointing to lose and play the way we did, because when you fumble the football 3 times and once at the short end of the field, and we've done that this fall, and then the thing that probably disturbs me more than anything are the penalties. We had too many penalties, too many turnovers. That's a bad recipe in a big game. In a big game on the road, because that keeps their crowd in it, and their crowd was a factor, particularly down near the student end. Well, there's no question that they were a factor. We had 3 motion penalties, but considering the crowd noise, that was not that great a factor, I don't think, in the big picture. I just think that we did not take care of the football, and defensively, on the play action, we overcommitted 3 times in this game. This starts early in the football game. They get a big play and get down into the red zone and make another play here with a quarterback who's a good athlete, scrambles out of there and picks up a first down. Yeah, and the thing about it is the big plays maybe were the disappointing thing that they had against the defense. Well, there's no question, you know, Jim, we can, we base our entire defense on not giving up big plays, and we've been vulnerable to big plays all fall long. And here's one of those turnovers. You're moving the ball, you're on their side of the 50, and you cough it up. Well, Jim, they take the first kickoff, go down and score, and then on our first drive, we've established good field position. We turn it back over, but our defense comes up. Lawrence Reed comes up with a sack. And our defense stiffens, makes a big play, and then Shante Orr makes an absolutely great individual effort and blocks a field goal. And again, we've got the ball in pretty good field position. Yeah, and that keeps the score 7-0, and then your defense comes up with a big play to get you back in the game. Well, we got stopped on 3rd and 1 there, and we pumped the ball. Adam Finley did a phenomenal job punting the ball all day long, and Marlon Jackson came up with the interception on the slant. He read it perfectly, and it's a tie ball game. 7-7 at that point, and they did get some runs out on you, and they got wide, and well, we missed some tackles. Yeah, I was going to say tackling isn't the best. Well, no, we did not tackle well, and some of that Notre Dame's offensive line did a good job on us up front. But then you caused a turnover, big play. Well, Charles Drake and Carl Diggs hit Grant, and Zia Combs is always a hustling guy, comes over and gets the ball, and we get a touchback and get the ball to the 20-yard line, can't do anything with it. And here's a tough one. You get a fumble, and it's in their end in the red zone, and you can't get anything out of it. Well, Jim made a great call, and Marlon Jackson comes in, makes another big play. We get the ball first down on the 15, and lose 10 yards on a reverse, a play that has been great for us in that area of the field. But penetration there, Notre Dame, give them credit, made a good call. And then we get penetration, but I don't think the ball got up high enough. And we come out of there after a great break with no points. And then this is a safety because you get a holding call in the end zone. And this followed a couple of other penalties that put you in that position. Well, we got a penalty on our punt return for holding, so we end up with the ball on the 5-yard line. And then we come right back out and get the football after the safety, hit a pass, decent field position, and fumble the football again.
And here's one of the pivotal plays in the game. Right before the half, Notre Dame scores a phantom touchdown because Holiday does not have the ball when he crosses the end zone. There it is, and you see it on the ground right there. I don't know what you can say about that, but it was ruled a touchdown, even though clearly it wasn't.
Well, Jim, it's an interesting way to score 7 points.
At halftime, you had to be disappointed you weren't able to move the football.
Well, I was mad.
Okay.
To be quite honest,
I was trying to be nice.
Because again, we're down, and yet we're still only down 9 points, and offensively we haven't done anything. And defensively, we've given up a couple of big plays, and yet we've also caused a couple of turnovers, scored a touchdown. All we have to do is get going offensively and shut down and take care of the football and eliminate some of those penalties.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll take a look at the second half between the Wolverines and Irish. But first, we hear from Marlon Jackson about mistakes will hurt you.
We didn't play good as a defense today. The way we're capable of playing, we got to go back and make some changes and correct them. Just come out next week and play hard.
Now, the Les Stanford Chevrolet locker room report.
We knew they had a great defense, and they're very athletic, and they knew they turned the ball and get the ball when they were on defense. So, you know, we turned it over too many times and hurt us bad.
Well, the Wolverines trailed at half, but in the third quarter, you came out, you got the ball, and while your first possession wasn't right, Michigan started to really control the third quarter. By the end of the third quarter, you ultimately had gotten the lead.
Well, Jim, one of the disappointing things in the first half is Notre Dame controlled the football almost the entire first quarter and had a tremendous advantage in time of possession. We came out in the third quarter, and our defense played very well, and our offense put together a couple of good drives.
Good play here to Benny Joppru.
Great block by Braylon Edwards, and Benny Joppru had a career day.
He did, career high in catches.
Played outstanding all year long. And here John on a big third down play finds him on single coverage. Benny's a tough guy to cover in single coverage. Here he hits him back across the grain, Braylon Edwards, and Braylon breaks down to the 3-yard line. And Jim, this is one of the most disappointing offensive sets. We had first down and goal from the 3 and couldn't get in and had to settle for 3.
That makes it a 16-10 game, but right off the next kickoff, you get a big turnover and then you convert.
Well, Ernest Shazer continues to make some great plays of special teams. He strips the ball, and there's what you like to see. Philip Brabs, our kicker's down in the middle of the fight there and comes up with the football. Now we've got great field position, and we really run the football well in this drive. Off tackle there behind Pape and Petrozello.
Yeah, this is a great play to Joppru again, but the impressive thing was you pounded the ball between the tackles.
Well, we did run effectively here again over the right side. A good block of B.J. Askew off the corner strike, and we get enough movement in there. Chris gets in the ball in the goal in the end zone, and Jim, we got to lead 17-16, and going into the fourth quarter, the wind at our back, we're in great position. But here again, the quarterback gets outside, a little bit of time to throw, and our defender fell down there, and they got a big play. And then this is the most disappointing play of the day for me, because again, we commit to the run, and now Notre Dame retakes the momentum of the game.
And they come right back after your score, and those big plays again have to be disappointing to you.
Well, here we got we're starting to really move the football on the ground, and Chris is running hard, but he's not securing the football properly, and it comes loose. And our defense makes a very good stand here. Victor Hobson, I thought, was outstanding. Came up with a big sack.
They get a holding call here, and you decide to decline it and let Sept try to kick a 46-yarder?
Well, Jim, I thought about taking the penalty, but I saw Sept kick the ball from 60 yards out in the pregame, and a 10-yard penalty would have made it 56 and given them another down. And so we took our chances there.
And that made it 25-17. And here you are late in the game, coming back, trying to tie it. You get a big play here to Braylon Edwards, and then another great play to Benny Joffre.
Well, we put together a great drive here, and John's moving well in the pocket, looking down the field, finds Benny, and Benny makes a wonderful catch. And then John sticks the ball in here, makes an excellent throw, and Ron Bellamy with very good concentration catches the ball. And here they blitz the linebackers, and Dave Perry, Chris Perry makes a great block on pass protection, and John hits Braylon down in there. And then on third down, we convert the touchdown after getting a penalty on first down. And now with 2-point conversion, we can be in the a chance to go into overtime.
Instead, they get the block on the 2-point conversion. But even at that, you make a great play here late. Good play by Cato June to stop them from getting a first down, and you'll get the ball back.
Great hustle by Shante Orr, and Cato made a great play. We wasted a timeout. We got a penalty just prior to that play, Jim, that cost us some valuable seconds and valuable field position. And then we just can't make a play here.
And those are the things, you know, you put yourself in that position, and sometimes it's tough to come back with no timeouts like that. But I think the thing, too, we talked a little after the game, you got to start a little faster maybe on the road than you did against Notre Dame.
Well, we were very slow to start offensively. We turned the football over on the first drive. On the second drive, we came up third and a yard and got held, so we had to punt the football. And then, of course, our defense scored for us, which kept us off. But we didn't put anything together at all in the first half. Had 2 turnovers and a penalty for a safety. Our defense, we gave up 9 points there offensively at the end of the half.
All right, coming off of this game, where do you work most, and where do you say, I got to get this squared away, we can get into that Utah and we can improve?
Well, we got to get our secondary straightened around from the standpoint of giving up big plays. We're in zone coverage there on all those downs, and we got people that are overcommitted. We've got to do that. We got to tackle better, Jim, and certainly offensively, we need to be more consistent. In that first quarter, we just left our offense on the field too long.
All right.
Our defense.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back, and we'll meet Dave Pearson, a guy who made a big switch at the beginning of this year. But first, we hear from Braylon Edwards, who talks about his team staying with it right to the bitter end in South Bend.
Through everything that happened today, we still play hard. We feel that we didn't give up. We never gave up until the last play of the game. And we had a couple things that didn't go our way, but for the most part, we know everybody gave 100% regardless of what happened.
College players are asked many times to change positions, but usually early in a career. The Wolverine starting center, Dave Pearson, was asked just last spring to move to center from the defensive line after 2 years on defense. No problem for Pearson. He made the move and has made a remarkably quick transition. He's now entrenched as the starting center, even though the move required a slight change in his style.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more in control on offensive line. In defense, you can just kind of, run around and hit people, and as long as you're in your gap and all that stuff. But on offensive line, the defense is always moving around, so you got to be able to stay in control and stay with their movement and everything.
From rushing the passer to protecting the passer is a whole different game, and that's the part of the change that was toughest for Pearson to master.
I think pass protection probably starting out was a little bit more difficult than run blocking, because run blocking is a little bit more, get after it, and pass blocking you gotta, sit down and try to stay in front of your guy the whole time and be more in control. So I think that was probably the most difficult thing at the beginning. All our offensive linemen have really come together this year. I know that, they went through a lot last year, and luckily I was able to come over and help them out some. And those guys, Dave Petrozello and Tony Pape, they all helped me out tremendously making the transition, along with Coach Moeller. And, I think we've all come together a lot, and, we're just trying to play together and, be successful. I think we all have the same goal in mind, so I think that helps.
So what's more fun for Day, the high-profile sack of a quarterback or the anonymous work in the trenches on offense?
I think each of them has their own different things that make it exciting. I don't think there's anything like being on the offense. When Chris Perry breaks a 69-yard run and running down there to the end zone after him, I think that's awesome feeling. But defense is fun also, and yeah, just whatever I can do to help the team win, and I think that's all that really anybody on the team cares about right now.
Dave Pearson, making the switch from defense to offense is tough, but we talked about this before. He's really done a nice job, and that's a tough spot at center. You got to know what's going on out there, and he's done a nice job.
You need a smart guy. You need a guy that is tough and competitive, and Dave is all those things, and he should get better and better.
And you need the offensive line to improve and get better each and every week, because you want to get that run game featured a little bit more, don't you?
Jim, I thought if there was one thing we did well today was in the offensive line. We didn't give up a sack, and I thought there were good holes in there. Our offensive line has improved. There's no question about that.
All right, when we come back, we will scout the Utah Utes, but first we hear from John Navarre, who talked after the Notre Dame game about moving on.
Yeah, it's a learning experience, and that's how you treat the things you can't do in big games like that. You learn from it. You gotta watch the film, and hey, it's a long season, and we're gonna move on, just like we do after a win.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
Now the Les Stanford Chevrolet locker room report.
Utah's next week. This game is over with, and Utah's the next game on our schedule. So that's what we start preparing for now.
Utah's the next game on the schedule. That's just the way it is in college football. You got to put that last one behind you. And Utah is formidable. They're a good football team from the Mountain West.
Jim, big, strong, physical, run the football, play great defense, well coached.
Just because you don't see them on TV or don't hear about them, they can still play.
They beat Southern Cal convincingly in the bowl game. This team is legitimate, a top 20 team.
And Ron McBride is in his 13th year there. He's a good coach, been there a long time, established a program.
I think an outstanding football coach. Coached in the Big Ten at Wisconsin, and he's done a great job at Utah.
Rice, their quarterback, is a big player, but you like Perolis, their running back, and a wide receiver lineman.
They've got 2 outstanding running backs, and Perolis is one, and Marty Johnson, who was leading the nation, I think, or third in the nation in rushing, hurt a knee and is not scheduled to play. But they're a team that can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
And you really like their defense, don't you?
I think their defense is outstanding. Garrett Smith, number 63 here, is a defensive tackle. And Jim, a lot of these guys, the average age, they say, is 25, 26. They get a lot of kids that go on a mission Mormon and come back. And it's an explosive, physical defense.
And Antoine Sanders is an outstanding safety.
I think Sanders is a great safety. And so they're going to be a team that, regardless, we have to be prepared for.
When you see it,
and that will be the difficult thing. The third top 20 team we've played here in 3 weeks.
Right.
And coming off a difficult loss, a disappointing loss, this will be a challenge for us.
Because it's one of those challenges, again, and we've talked about this before, I think, emotionally getting back up. You've got to explain to the Michigan players that these Utah guys are good.
Well, I think they know they're good. We've talked about them in the spring, looked at them some in film. They understand, but getting that last game out of our system and getting ready for an excellent football team, it's easier said than done.
The way the last game happened, though, leaves a bad taste in your mouth, just because there's so many opportunities to win that game, and your team heading into this Utah game has got to be kind of, you'd think let's get that out of our system.
Jim, we're capable of being a good football team, but we have to play smarter. We have to be more disciplined. The penalties, you can't have the penalties we had in that game, and certainly you can't turn the football over 4 times and beat good teams.
Running into a defense like Utah, what kinds of things offensively do you have to do to be, as you said earlier in the show, more consistent?
Well, I think, you know, the thing that we have to do is continue to mix the run and the pass. I think we've done a good job of that. I think we've had some play action pass. Defenses today that overcommit safeties are vulnerable to big plays. That's the thing we've got to get worked out with our defense. That has to start first. And then offensively, we got to take care of the ball. And we're blocking well enough. We have to have patience with the running game because I think that's a critical part of it. And hopefully we'll do that.
And real quickly, John Navarre, you know, some difficulty, but he's right on the edge of getting over the hump, isn't he?
I think he is, Jim. I think he had an excellent fourth quarter. He was very good late in the third quarter. We had some good drives. But when you're always turning the football over, it's hard to get in rhythm, and that's happened to us in all of these games this far.
All right, well, we'll see if the Wolverines can get in rhythm next week, taking on Utah, and we hope you join us right here, same time, same place. We'll talk about it all on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908, and by Nike,